Hey everybody, welcome back to Out of the Ordinary with Jay, and I am with
Jen.
Jen. How old are you?
I am 36.
36 years young. Okay, and where are you from originally?
Originally from Michigan, Midwest, represent.
Okay, whereabouts in Michigan?
Close to Detroit. Originally grew up in like a farming town called North Branch, super tiny, and then when I went to college, went to like Rochester Hills area. Then my last 2 years there, I was like downtown Detroit.
Okay.
Super fun.
Okay, and so what do you do for a living?
I am a director of a juniors beach volleyball club.
Wow, that is an interesting occupation. Okay, so
it is.
we're gonna have a fun. I'm gonna let's see. Do I want to put my glasses on? I don't know. It's like the sun's bright. It's killing me.
I can't decide.
All right, I'm gonna leave them on for a minute. Sorry, guys. Anyway, okay. So you should have an interesting perspective on these fun 10 questions or 11 questions.
I'm excited. I can't wait.
What would you? How old did you say you were again?
36.
Okay. What are your thoughts on aging?
Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm on the fence about this.
Okay.
It sucks physically.
Okay. Yeah.
Our bodies continue to let us down. We have to spend more money on prehab and rehab and good food and the allergies that we get just from all the things in the world. But I feel like now that I'm 36, I'm just way wiser and making way better decisions than I was when I was younger. Like, I don't feel invincible. I have one body, take care of myself.
Okay.
So it sucks on the physical side, but like mentally and the knowledge that you gain, I think it's such an awesome perspective.
Like a trade-off.
Yeah.
I will say this: I do miss the times like back in the day. I'd be watching like a sports game order, and I'd order literally like a whole large Pizza Hut pizza and like a 2-liter Pepsi. And I just sit on the couch and gorge. And like by the time I was done, like my stomach might have moved like a millimeter.
Right.
Like nothing.
Oh my gosh.
Now I could look at a pizza and
So true.
It's crazy. It's just weird how even a little bit like there's. And once you pop out of the 20s, things change a bit.
It's brutal.
Okay, so what do you think about on the aging thing? What would you say is there a perfect age?
Oof. I feel like for me and what I've experienced so far, I felt a hard transition at 30. Like 28, 29 was amazing physically. Once I hit 30, my body transitioned, but I feel like what should be our prime is like 35 to 45 should be like the sweet spot. I feel like.
Yeah, I mean I don't know. I remember thinking the perfect age was 28, but right now I feel pretty good. So
heck yeah.
I don't know. Okay, so speaking of aging, this is kind of an out there question, but let's say I could bring you a pill, and you took this pill, and you'd be granted immortality right now. So at this age, this body, this mind, whatever. Obviously you'd be growing older, but not, right? Would you take it?
Ooh,
basically, the question is, here's the question.
So hard.
Let me restate the question: immortality or afterlife?
Oh, that's so hard.
It's difficult.
I don't know if I want to be around to deal with problems that are created by us thousands of years later.
Good point. That said,
afterlife.
Wouldn't it be nice though, like, because you said you're 36, to just be hanging out at 36 as everybody else is aging, and you're like, bummer, sucks to be you.
It would be so nice. It would be nice.
Like, just kind of, anyway. It
would be nice. Like, yep, I don't have to deal with those problems. But then again, like with that, it's like you're gonna watch everybody that you have relationships with and know
they're not gonna make it,
and it's
you're still there.
Eventually, generations later, like, how are you gonna keep ties with society?
Okay,
that's gonna be so hard.
I'm just gonna give you one challenge on your immortality answer versus afterlife, because you said, well, all the things that we've put into motion that are, you don't want to see the destruction or the dystopian thing. But what if you're immortal and you've been around so long? You'll have so much wisdom. Eventually, you'd be able to sort it out, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if anybody listened to you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You would have to back it up, but I mean, you could actually, being around for so long, affect so much change as long as people don't revolt against you and think you're scary.
Even if they did, you're still there. Anyway.
So true.
All right. So let's go the other way. What would you do if you had found out you had just 1 year to live?
I would definitely be better at my work-life balance. And
meaning taking
advantage
more
of
work?
Less work. I would definitely be focusing on a lot more, seeing my family a lot more, connecting with my friends a lot more, living presently and not pushing things off and canceling plans because I'm stuck in the daily details of work, for sure. I love my job. It's amazing. It's super fun. But I do feel like Yeah, if I had a year left, that would be the change I would make.
What's interesting is like, so I ask a lot of people, the question or the idea of work-life balance comes up like a lot.
Oh,
Either I'll
totally.
bring it up or somebody else brings it up, almost always. And at least in my experience, what I find is people say it a lot, but nothing changes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like a really good like sound bite, and it
Mhm.
sounds important, and they feel like it's an important thing, and I think it is. But then it's just words. Like I find this almost everybody I've followed up on or whatever, they'll still bring up work-life balance 5 years later, 10 years later, whatever it is.
Yeah, I feel
you know?
like it's in the accountability.
It's
If you
just
don't
tough.
have anyone to help you be accountable, it's going to be tough to make the change because you're just like blinders on a horse dealing with what you're dealing with in front of you and not able to step back as much.
Yeah, it's tough. Our life is very busy. All of us, no matter what you're doing, it's super busy, and you're like, it's very hard to be proactive. You're almost always reacting to something.
Right.
Got to pay this bill, got to get to work on
Yes.
time, got to go grocery shopping, whatever. And so I think you get stuck in it pretty easy. I agree. Okay, if you could travel back in time, what would you change?
Oh man, that's so good.
By the way, on any of these I forgot to tell you, you're welcome to skip, pass, come back to
Perfect.
whatever. So anyways, but
Such a good one.
so if you could travel back in time, what would you change?
There's so many things and nothing all at the same time. I can't think of like one specific thing that I'm hard tied to, but
We'll skip.
Let me think about that because that's a good one.
Okay.
I do want to answer.
I'm going to make it much easier now. What is the purpose of life? What is the purpose of life, and like, do you have sort of any like guiding principle? Because you've already said a few principles that you have. Like so what to you? What's the purpose of life? Is there one?
I feel like this is a good question too. I haven't really thought about this ever, actually. That's really funny. I feel like the purpose of life.
You're already
everybody
doing
has
it.
Everyone has their own, right? And I think a lot of those can be misguided by a lot of material things or external issues and situations. But
hold on a second. We got a lawnmower going by. He's going right by. I hope he keeps going. Please keep going.
Go.
He went louder. He's coming right here. And nope.
Keep going.
Okay, I think we're good. Okay, go ahead.
I feel like a big one is just like humanity and bettering ourselves and making sure we're making things better for generations to come, and connectivity and community is big, because the second we get isolated, it's unhealthy. We're stuck with ourselves. The second we're not trying to make things better, we're regressing as a society. And like, why are we here in the first place? To propel forward.
I see. So your purpose of life is or you would say is the advancement of the human species.
Yeah.
I guess in a positive way. I like that. That's a good one. I've not heard that one before. That's very good.
Love it. Yay.
Yeah, that's good. What is something a person can do to stay healthy?
Sleep.
Sleep. Is that part of the work-life balance thing?
Sleep is your number one recovery method. Number one. If you're not sleeping a lot, you're not going to recover very well. Movement.
What's a lot? Like 8 hours, they say?
Yeah, like 6 to 8 hours a night.
And then what was the other one you were saying?
Movement is huge. It doesn't have to be go out and work out really hard, hit a HIIT class. Like, if you stop moving, you start dying. I've seen it with my own family, my grandma and grandpa. The second they retired and they were just not as active and out doing things, like even just daily walks, or just making sure you're getting yourself up and going from whatever you're doing sedentary is gonna be like the number one thing you can do to extend your health.
Can you combine the two? Can you be sleeping with like restless leg syndrome, and does that count?
I wish. No.
Okay, well, all right, fine.
But I mean, we do burn calories while we sleep.
I mean,
so.
I'm just saying. All right, I'm always trying to like combine things to save time, you know. Anyway,
yes.
Okay. What is the key to a happy life? Some of these are a little duplicitous, but go for
balance and purpose and fulfillment, like making sure you're doing things that you actually enjoy and filling your cup before you fill other people's cup.
So I like your purpose one, where your answer, but your first answer was I've not really thought about it.
Yeah.
Which was actually my favorite answer. I love that answer. That's like so good. That means you're out there living and you don't have, but I liked your second answer too. But I think a lot of people go through a thing where they're trying to find a purpose and they're not quite sure. And I came across something that I think works for me, as I decided my purpose is to find a purpose.
Yeah.
and I love it because it allows me to basically go anywhere, do anything, get involved in anything, and
well, I mean,
that's the way that it goes.
We can change and we can adapt and we can grow. Like, it doesn't always have to stay the same. I like that.
That only came to me in like the last year. I'm like, okay,
so
I can't read any more books. I've read them all. So anyways, that's what I came up with.
That's awesome.
Okay, what is your version of Utopia, the perfect world? And we're down to like 2 more questions after that.
Okay. Everyone can sit and have a conversation in different opinions and learn from each other. People look out for each other. We're all active and play sports. I freaking love sports. Okay. Doesn't matter what sport. That. We can all play pickleball. I don't care what it is, but having something to connect us versus divide us, like changing our outlook on.
You mean better than it is right now?
Yeah, like
you don't think
the amount of people that just sit around and scream at TVs that these football coaches should be fired. Like, sports are supposed to bring us together, not pit us against each other. Like, I'm all about competitiveness.
Please, that's all sports do. It's both. It brings you together, but it's also like a tribe.
I know.
I'm sorry. I asked this.
It needs to be better.
So I brought
it needs to be better for our kids.
Just to tell you how tribal it is and how weird it is, I ran this hypothetical past a friend of mine a while back, and I basically said, okay, so let's say whatever you're a Green Bay Packers fan, and you absolutely hate the Minnesota Vikings. Because you're Green Bay Packers fan, you love everything about it. You love the draft choices, their starring quarterback that's been there 5 years, the head coach, the assistant coach, all that stuff, or the offensive coordinator, all that. You love the entire team, and you hate literally everything about the Minnesota Vikings. But in some weird trade deal, the entire staff and entire team gets traded to the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings are now over here. Most people that I've talked to will stick with the logo. They stick with the team. They'll forget about their favorite coach, their favorite quarterback, whatever. They stick with the logo. Isn't that interesting?
It drives me wild because
interesting.
I'm like, what are we basing these things off of?
Yeah, so the loyalty is to like a color and I guess tradition, but not the people. I find it interesting. That's been the answer 9 times out of 10. No, almost 10 times out of 10. Anyway, okay. If money was no object and you could bring anyone with you, where would you live? So you could live anywhere. Money's no object.
Oh, there's so many places. Australia.
You can give me a top 3 or something
Hawaii.
if that's easier. Okay. I'm detecting warm beaches.
Switzerland.
Okay, Switzerland. There's no warm beach there, but that's okay. Okay. What do you think about our inner monologues? You know, like when we're driving down the road and there's no music on, and all of a sudden something comes into your head thinking about some weird aunt you haven't thought about, or what? You know, what do you think about this whole thing? How we have inner monologues?
Man, I love them because they help us analyze what we've been through the week, through the day. When I feel like that's happening to me, it's because I'm in a calm state, and then now I'm actually going through all the things that happened to me through the week, through the day, all the things that I'm catching up on and helping me give me perspective to make my decisions better. But also on the flip side, you have that one thought that comes back from like your senior year in high school when you made a dumb decision.
Something super negative that makes you sad.
Yeah, exactly.
Like all of a sudden you start thinking of somebody that you really cared about that's no longer here.
Yes, exactly.
Or whatever. Yeah, it's very random.
But I also think it makes us human, and we need to be able to analyze and go through and feel our emotions and feelings to be healthy as well and not pack them away. So I mean, I think there's a place for the negative ones too. Just depends on like where your threshold is, where you kind of like cut it off.
I mean, they are what they are. I mean, you know, but I liked your thought on the inner monologue thing about, because you've never heard anybody state it that way before, where it's like it's looked at as a good thing because that means you have time. You're not so busy that you're actually have time to yourself, and yourself is doing something with it. So that's super interesting. I like that. Okay, last question. Maybe. Do you get deja vu or any weird occurrences? And if so, what's that like for you?
Totally. Sometimes I'll be at practice working on a specific skill, and I'll be like, whoa, I've been here before, we've done this before, you all have been here at the same exact time before, but weird? We haven't. It's so weird. It happens with driving too. Like when I'm driving specific places, like to the chiropractor, I'm like, whoa. I mean, I do that a lot of weeks, but still.
Isn't that a weird thing?
Yeah.
Okay, so last question. Do you get deja vu or weird occurrences? Just kidding. That's my time with Jen.
No, never.
Thanks, Jen. Appreciate it.
Of course.